Sunflowers are one of the best cut flowers that you can grow, and in this video I'm going to tell you why. Welcome back everybody, Carmen here with Fresh Cut Flower Farm, and I am a small scale flower farmer here in Zone 6B in the state of Missouri. And whether you are large scale, small scale like me, or you're just a home gardener, I think sunflowers is a must grow in your garden. Now, my primary outlet for my flowers is the farmer's market. I would say 95% of the flowers I sell, I am selling at my local farmer's market. Sunflowers are one of the most recognizable flowers that are grown. Many people might choose to use the sunflower as the focal flower in their wedding or event, and many times, I don't know so much that you see the trend now, but there was a time where sunflowers were the focal flower in kitchens. They were themed around the sunflowers. I'm sure you all can remember the sunflower wallpaper or the strip that went around the top of, what was that called? The border that went around the top of the wall, the canisters, the dishes, and some of you may even still have that. So it's a very recognizable flower, and they practically just sell themselves. So let's talk about why, as a cut flower grower, you should be growing sunflowers. First of all, you need to know that there are two types of sunflowers. So you have branching sunflowers, and then you have non-branching, aka single stem sunflowers. And then you have sunflowers that have pollen, and you have sunflowers that do not have pollen. So your branching sunflowers, some of the pros and cons. Pros would be that you get multiple flowers from just one plant. Cons would be, one, that those flowers need a lot of room to grow, and they do have pollen. And so that's something that you need to think about if you're growing it for a cut flower, is that those flowers will be dropping pollen onto your customer's tablecloth or furniture, whatever the case may be. And then typically branching sunflowers do not have as long of a vase life. Now your single stem sunflowers, pros and cons. A con would be one stem, one flower. So that's a con to some people. However, to me, the benefits far outweigh the cons. So yes, you only get one flower per stem, but they are pollenless. They have a longer vase life, and typically you would plant them much closer. So 5-6 inches apart is all the space that you need to plant those sunflowers in. Now let's talk about starting sunflowers from seed. This is what I love about sunflowers. They are so easy to start from seed, so easy. Probably one of the easiest flowers there is. And if they're easy to start from seed, then you have high germination rate and therefore less waste. So that is less money that you spent on flowers that never germinate. Thereby you have a higher return on your investment, which is kind of what we all want, especially if we are selling our flowers. You can start your seed in one of two ways. You can direct sow your seed just straight out into your garden, or you might choose to start them in cell trays, and that is actually my preferred method for starting. I typically start my sunflower seeds in 1/28 cell trays. And the reason why I like to do that is because it prevents me from having any gaps in my rows, which is something that you might have if you direct sowed and then you had a few that didn't germinate. Now, whether you direct sow or whether you start in your cell trays, you typically get germination in just a few days. And if you're starting in cell trays, they only have to be in that cell tray about 3 weeks until they're big enough to plant out into the garden. And you typically, from the time that you start your seed until you have a sunflower, is only about 60 days on average, depending on variety. There's a little bit of wiggle room in there, but that's really quick. And so that is a quick turnaround of your money, of your investment. Once you put them in the ground, if you're transplanting them, they just take care of themselves. I typically, anytime I turn over a bed, I'll add a little bit of fresh compost, maybe put an all-purpose fertilizer in there. And then my sunflowers, I just put them in the ground. I space them about 6 inches apart, make sure that they're watered in well, and I just let them go. They just water them when they need it, and they just, like magic, give me a sunflower. They're so low maintenance. And I have found, at least for me, that the disease pressure and the bug pressure is really very minimal. And I don't use any kind of pesticides, herbicides. I don't use anything like that. And I hardly ever have any kind of a problem with my sunflowers. Another true benefit of sunflowers, which is probably at the top of my list of the thing that I love about sunflowers, is they are so quick and easy to harvest. Now, I know many of you, like me, flowers are your side hustle. They're not your Monday through Friday 9 to 5 job. And so maybe you come home in the evenings, you need to get harvest flowers for whether you're doing market or maybe you have an event and you really have very limited time to harvest those flowers in. Sunflowers are quick and they're easy, and that's what I love about them. Now, once I take my flowers to the market, they do the work themselves. They just sell themselves. I said it earlier, but it's true. People just love the sunflower. They bring a brightness and cheerfulness to your booth. People just come over to them. And one other thing that has to be said about it is they take up a lot of space in your booth, which is a good thing. So it's a great, it's a focal flower, but it's a real filler. It fills just room in your booth, and I think it just can make your booth look more voluptuous, if you will. Especially when you harvest, if you'll leave like one of the green leaves on there, that really, having that green background, that sunflower just pops off of it. Trust me, you'll be glad you did. So in a nutshell, for me, sunflowers, minimum effort, maximum profit. If you grow sunflowers, comment below on what you love about sunflowers. If you grow them and decide not to grow and have decided not to grow them, comment why. Tell us why you don't like them. And that is going to be it for this video, everybody. I'll see you next time. Bye.